Because I was like, this is a really competitive market. This is early 2022. Real estate's on fire. There's lines out the door.
And we're in Phoenix, Arizona. It's
Yeah. And
The
people are
Mecca.
moving here like crazy. So I was like, I got to figure something else out. I have to carve out my own niche, because if I just do what everybody else is doing, I'm just competing against people that have more ad spend, that have bigger resources than I do. So I have to figure out my own thing. And that's when we really decided, we're like, how can we use our existing experience that we have right now? We both come from B2B corporate sales. What can I do and where can I get leads from where I can leverage the experience that I do have in the medical field and in corporate sales? So we put together a plan of going to assisted living communities, because most seniors in America have less than $1,000 to their name. 60% of those seniors wouldn't know where to find $400 if they needed it. But the majority of them that are now aging out, this whole silver tsunami that people talk about, need to go to assisted living to be taken care of. And most of them don't have any money. But the one thing that they do have, most of them, is a free and clear house, because they bought those houses for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 back in the day.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Deals and Aloha podcast, where we talk to probably the most awesome people in the world about real estate deals. We hope to leave a long-lasting impact on our audience and, of course, spread aloha.
Gee.
You guys can find us on all social media platforms at Kamohai and Tristyn. Let's go.
Let's go. I mean, today we have another husband and wife couple that are in real estate. There's not a lot of us, you guys. So it's always fun when we get to really connect with other couples that are just like us. We have Angel and Steven Hunt out of Arizona. They do property management, fix and flip, education, all the things. And I'm so excited to, and here's our guest appearance.
Look who just ran in.
Look at this.
The main event is here.
It's summer vacation for everybody on YouTube. But we're excited to have you guys on and share your story, because again, super interested in all things real estate and super interested in all things husband and wife dynamic. And so first question always is, for all of our real estate peeps, how did you get into real estate?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thank you guys so much for having us. We've been friends for three and a half, almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
So it's been super cool to see your guys' journey and to be on the podcast with you guys. So thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
But gosh, what a loaded question too.
I know.
Like, how did we get into real
It
estate?
does date back a solid 10
Start
years.
at the beginning.
Absolutely. Do you want to start it off?
Yeah. So when Steven and I met, I was 20 years old. He was 21. And when we talked about, we were fairly young. We didn't know what we wanted to do in life. We were going to college at the time, because that's just the rite of passage, right? You don't know what to do. You graduate high school, you go to college. But both of us had a passion and this just want to build a life for ourselves that wasn't ordinary. Like we've always known that there's a lot of untapped potential, and we just wanted an extraordinary life. Our biggest fear was having this boring 9 to 5, you contribute to your 401k, you wait till retirement, then you can finally not work. That was never us.
Yeah.
And when we would research how to build wealth and how to make money, and we just saw a common denominator that every single wealthy person owned real estate. So we were just okay, we need to learn how to get into real estate. But at that time, we really thought, okay, you got to still go to school, get a college degree, get a really good paying job. And then with that money, you put 20% down, and then eventually you collect rentals over time. So hopefully by the time, instead of 65, 50, we'll have this nice portfolio paid off, and we'll do that. So that's kind of what we started off doing. We went to college, graduated, got into corporate America, did all the things. And along the way, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and just some of the most basic books, right, on real estate and wealth building. Right. But we didn't know how to get into real estate. And neither one of us ever aspired to be realtors or agents. It just was never even a thought.
Yeah.
But we always thought, okay, let's just, make as much money in corporate America as we can and start buying rentals. So we finally get there, fast forward about 5 years, right? We're graduated from college. We're making really good money. We were both in medical sales at the time. And we start kind of looking for local meetups and resources on how can I start buying rentals. And we got hooked up with a couple of agents who would start walking us, through these condos and properties. And then just within that time frame, my stepsister April calls me. Yes.
April,
yes. Calls me like right out of the blue. And she's like, who lives in Jacksonville, Florida, by the way.
Yeah.
And she goes, hey, I know this is really last minute. I'm actually in your town for a real estate seminar. Do you want to grab happy hour? And I'm like, what are you doing staying in a hotel asking me to grab happy hour? Like, cancel your room, come over, stay with us. Where's the seminar at?
Right.
And I believe that's the mastermind that you guys were at together.
That's when we met you.
We met
you at that happy hour.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
We were so like, we didn't know anything about wholesaling. Nothing about, subject to creative finance or even like, hard money, private money, raising it, getting into real estate deals off market without your own resources or money. Like the whole world didn't exist, to us. And so we meet up with April and she starts like telling us all these different real estate strategies. And we're like,
oh, she's getting scammed.
She's getting scammed. Like this is like, no,
this is not good.
We read all the books, right? We read all of Brandon Turner's books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, all that kind of stuff. So it sounded like we understood this traditional way of doing it. So when she's saying you need no money, you can do it like this, take over the mortgage, I was like, this is
black magic. We're like, no.
Yeah.
We're like, which one of us is going to tell her that she's getting scammed?
We need to protect our family member right now. Yeah. She's at risk. Yeah.
Well, and it was at a time where she was still like so new to it herself.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, I guess, we'll voice our opinion or at least our concern slightly, but we don't know what we don't know. We can't judge her journey. Like, what if she's onto something? And fast forward 6 months, she's like killing it, like
killing it,
wholesaling like crazy, totally, talking about all these creative finance strategies. And I'm just like, okay, she's onto something.
There's
like
something
whatever
there.
She's drinking, I want some of that Kool-Aid.
Yes.
And let's just get in. So as soon as we saw somebody else see a little bit of success, that's when we were like, take my money. I want to learn whoever you learned this from. And that's when we joined the sub 2 membership with Pace Morby.
Yeah.
And that opened us up to the whole investment world where we were able to just like the curtain was unveiled.
It made everything feel like, wow, we can actually do this. Look at all these people that are doing this. If we implement these strategies, now obviously there's a bunch of learning curves that comes along with that. It took us 6 months to get our first deal, but once you finally figure it out and you kept going for it because you had a group of people, a community of people that you could rely on, all of a sudden you get through that first deal and you're like, holy crap, I can do this. Wait, I can do this a ton. That's all I had to do. And it's just finding your rhythm in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
so
your guys' story is so relatable to our story.
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
It's very similar because we did the same thing. Go to school, you get a good job. Real estate is something you do on the side. It's not a full-time career. And then, we had children and we're in like a financial desperation almost because kids will do that to you, right? Like, hey, we really need to figure this out. And then I saw, a commercial for a real estate seminar on TV and I just felt called to go, but he went kicking and screaming because he said, oh, this is a scam.
Yeah.
They just want to take your money, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't until we saw somebody born and raised here in Hawaii, like another local person go up on stage and was like, no, I'm actually doing this. This is what we are. So seeing somebody else succeed at it that we could relate to, that it was like, yes, take my money.
I just super resonate with the fact that you said in the beginning, you're like, we wanted extraordinary lives.
Yeah.
Like that was it. Like that I've always felt
that.
Like we were meant for greatness, for more, for not just mediocre, not just normal, but like extraordinary.
I love that you said that. Yeah.
And that's where I relate so much with you because it was like we were missing the key to the extraordinary door. Right. And when we found real estate and that vehicle, we're like, a whole new world opened up, right? Like just like it did for you guys. And that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like don't know exactly how it's going to happen until, you put yourself in that vehicle and now you're like, I see a clear path. Like now I know exactly what I need to do. I need to go for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you joined a mentorship, and then what happened?
So in the mentorship, they were talking about all these different strategies of how to find houses. So we did all the things that everybody was saying, right? We went door knocking, we were cold calling, we hired a team of VAs to start cold calling. We were just piling money into this, just trying to figure out how can we sustain this? How can we actually do this? We both have W-2 jobs. We got to figure this out. And about 4 or 5 months into it, I ended up getting laid off from my job, which is a very common theme in my life, by the way. I've probably been fired 20 times.
Wow.
So, and it's not because I'm a bad employee. I just overstepped a lot of boundaries and try to
He's
do.
an entrepreneur at heart. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
he
you
tried to be
could-
too
it was never gonna
entrepreneurial in a
succeed.
W-2, and they don't like that.
Yeah.
No, they hate it. They hate it. So
Yeah.
my boss has a talk with me. It wasn't getting fired necessarily. He goes, "Hey, could we have a mutual separation?" He's like, "I just don't think that like this is
a good
gonna
fit.
this is a good
Work.
fit." He's like, "But I can't fire you." You know, so like, would you be open to a mutual separation? I said, can you pause that real quickly? And I ran into the other room because she was getting ready in the morning. I said, hey, this is what my boss said. And she goes, quit the job. Yeah, quit the job. Go all in on real estate.
Take a severance package. Hold on. I'm like, let's negotiate a little something, something.
Yeah.
A little bit of
There
a
you go.
runway. They have nothing to fire you on, but if
Yeah.
you're getting laid off, let's make it work and let's
Yeah.
go into real estate all the way in. Like
Yeah.
this
Love
is
that.
great. Like this
This
is
is
a
our
sign
shot.
from God.
This is our
This is
shot
the
right
sign.
now.
Exactly.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
This
Love
is
that.
it. Putting it in our lap, which was great. So as soon as that happened, that same day, I ended up canceling all of our services, VAs, any cold calling, any strategy that we were doing that other people were doing. Because I was like, this is a really competitive market. This is early 2022. Real estate's on fire. There's lines out the door.
And we're in Phoenix, Arizona. It's like,
Yes.
Yeah.
The
And people were
Mecca.
moving here like crazy. So I was like, I got to figure something else out. I have to carve out my own niche because if I just do what everybody else is doing, I'm just competing against people that have more ad spend, that have bigger resources than I do. So I have to figure out my own thing. And that's when we really decided, we're like, how can we use our existing experience that we have right now? We both come from B2B corporate sales. What can I do and where can I get leads from where I can leverage the experience that I do have in the medical field and in corporate sales? So we put together a plan of going to assisted living communities because most seniors in America have less than $1,000 to their name. 60% of those seniors wouldn't know where to find $400 if they needed it. So the majority of them that are now aging out, this whole silver tsunami that people talk about, need to go to assisted living to be taken care of. And most of them don't have any money, but the one thing that they do have, most of them, is a free and clear house because they bought those houses for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 back in the day. So I started going around to assisted living communities, printed out some brochures, basically productized all the ways you can transact real estate to make it look like I had all these different services, sub-2, seller finance, all the stuff, cash deals, but I called them all different things.
Different things.
of
Yeah.
course.
Yes. So then I would go and I would pitch those over to the senior community saying, hey, I can help your conversion rate. I talked to all of them and they said, hey, it takes about 6 months for somebody to transition. I said, what if I can shorten that down to 2 weeks? Is that something that would help your guys' business out? And they were like, yeah, absolutely it would. So we got sent our first one after the first week of me doing that. And that was our first deal, March of 2022.
Crazy.
And that had a $200,000 spread on that deal
Nice,
because we didn't know what we
nice.
were doing either. So we were shooting in the dark on what our offer needed to be. And we're like, let's just go a little bit lower than we need to just because we don't fully know. And it just really took off from there. We ended up doing 23 deals that year using that
Sick.
strategy.
Wow.
Crazy.
So is that how Senior Gaps was formed? Was really finding your own niche and being forced into the marketplace and targeting. But I feel like that's the key that a lot of new investors miss is they're like just trying to do this wide marketing umbrella and try all these different strategies and like do fully squirrel syndrome, right? Instead of just going really deep into one thing, because once you have proof of concept in one thing, you can achieve a lot of success. Like what you said, you did 23 deals.
I mean, I think the other side to that is oftentimes, especially when we're getting started, we do what we're told to do or what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what we have realized is that everybody has a special skill. Everybody has some kind of thing to offer that is unique
To them.
to just them.
Right.
And but you have to find out what that is. You know what I mean? And for you guys to go back and look at, okay, what do I have? Like what can I rely on? What can I build out of my experience? And you come up with this brand new strategy, right? It's brilliant. And at the end of the day, like, real estate's been around for a long time, but was anybody doing anywhere. What you guys were doing? Yeah. You know what I mean? You figured something out in an industry that's been here forever. So that should show people like there are ways out there that are not discovered yet. And like, you don't just have to do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Or you can 1,000%. Do it and put your spin on it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what's your experience, right? So again, leading back to it, we spend a lot of times in the hospital systems, at doctors' offices. So we understand the medical industry. And that's where a lot of these senior communities are focused on memory care and health and taking care of these people. So it was like for like almost in the same context. Whereas I could probably go get leads from plumbers as well, because let's think about that. Let's say somebody's house has a huge flood in it. They don't have the money. Maybe they don't have the insurance claim that they can get on that. So now they have a $10,000, $20,000 repair that they have to make, paying retail on that. They don't have the money. Who's the first person to know about that before it hits the distressed seller list? Yeah. The plumber's the first person to know about that. So that plumber could refer it to us. We could use that plumber to give him business. There's so many ways you can use that strategy of a B2B sales.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. You guys heard it here first. Like go to your vendors.
Our first way that we used that strategy was with junk removal companies. And we did that like our second year in. And I had that same realization that you had. I was like, these people that are going to sell their house, they think the first thing they need to do is get it cleaned out because they have to get it list ready, right? And so who do they call first? They call junk removal companies to come give them bids. And I was like, what if I formed a relationship with the junk removal companies and I got them to send us the leads? Because what I found out was a ton of people don't realize how expensive junk removal is. So they'll call the junk removal company out there and the junk removal company will bid it and they'll never get the job. So when I was talking with them, they were like, we maybe get 25% of the jobs that we bid. And I was like, well, hey, if you send me that lead and I buy the house, I will 1000% use you. So they were very incentivized to give us the bids, and then I would also give them a referral fee. So like there's so many different ways to be able to do that. And I think we bought like 7 houses the first year with junk removal companies. So
that's so good.
For sure.
Well, they're the ones doing all the marketing spend to find these leads too. That's the cool part. That's the other thing I say to everybody. I'm like, this is a free way of doing it. The title company can get you some brochures printed out for free. That's what we did. So title company did it for us. But outside of that, they're doing all the marketing spend. So I'm like, who has the leads that I want? That's the biggest thing that I'm trying to understand is who has the leads that I want and who can I connect with?
And what is their pain point too? I think Kamohai, you kind of alluded to this too. How can you incentivize them to want to work with you? And that's, I think, a huge piece that people are not understanding. A lot of people give up on any kind of business to business really quick because they don't understand how to build a win-win relationship. Like when we talk about these senior communities, people are still like, why would they be referring to you? They just can't logically understand it. But if you really break it down, if you think about it, these seniors are old, they're sick. Maybe mom just got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Doctor said you're no longer able to live within your home.
Right.
And that house, 90% of the time, is what's holding back the senior from moving on to the facility because they can't sell it. Because generally what we see, if somebody's health declines, their property does too.
Also
no longer
everything
fixing
does.
that window. They're not, the pool is sitting empty, for 10 plus years and they're not maintaining it. It's just kind of starting to go downhill. And then your traditional agent can't help because it's not, a beautiful house that they're ready to, list. A lot of it is hoarder houses. So it's like these communities, they want these people to come in because obviously that's how they make money. But they can't get these people to transition because this house is holding them back. So you have to approach this business and thinking, how can I be a solution to every single party that I serve?
Solution.
How can I create win-win-win-win-win all around? And that's where your business really will blow up.
Have you guys always been out of the box thinkers? Where did that come from?
For me, yes, a bit. I think I always wanted more, like we talked about earlier, right? It's like I always had a desire for more, and I always looked for gaps within the marketplace. So when I was working for corporate companies, that's why I would get in trouble, because I'd find the gaps in the marketplace. And I'm like, this is what we have to focus on. Here's why training and development isn't going well, is because you guys are training like HR instead of like salespeople. You have to do this instead and do that. So I really conditioned myself for a long, long time, years, since I was like in middle school, basically, of like, where's the gaps in the marketplace? Like, how can I find where this issue is? So it's the first thing I think of anytime I try to go into a new industry. I'm like, where's the gap? What am I not seeing? And would that be a value add to people?
Where do you think you developed that skill? I'm just curious, because that is a skill. Like, did you grow up in a household where you saw your parents doing that? Were your parents entrepreneurs? You know what I mean? Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my dad is entrepreneurial. He has the entrepreneurial spirit. He had a business with my stepmom, who is a doctor, and they started a private practice. She's crushing now on social media if anybody wants to follow her. But regardless, he was always kind of looking for gaps, and he was looking for little ways to do things. He just never really executed on those. But he was always talking about it like, oh, what if you just change this? Or if you just change this in this person's business? He played a lot of Monday morning quarterback, is what we would say, where it's easy to look at somebody else's business and say, well, if you do this, it would be so much better, right? But the implementation of doing it yourself didn't necessarily happen quite as much as it should have, I think. But that said, I conditioned myself to start thinking that way too, because that's really the only way in that sense that him and I really connected, was really talking about business. So I think I just really, that was it.
Got it from him. Yeah. I mean, nature versus nurture is real. And I mean, again, I can relate to your guys' story so much because my dad was an entrepreneur. So I grew up watching him own and operate businesses. And then when I started running my own business, he was like, oh, wow, I wish I did things like that. Or like he was able to identify things just like you said, but then he just stayed to what was safe in his own business. So he never became an owner. He was always an operator.
Yep. Yeah. And that's exactly where he's still at for the most part.
Yep. It's crazy.
So you guys started buying these deals. What were you doing with them? Were you wholesaling them? Were you fixing and flipping them? Did you have any construction knowledge? Like what about the logistical side of that?
Super easy, right? First flip was easy for you guys.
Neither of us knew how to screw in a light bulb when it comes to construction experience.
We still don't.
That's me
I have
right
a whole
there.
white collar family.
We are still our primary bedroom right now. We have like 2 light bulbs out. I'm like, is anybody going to get to that?
How do we get the things out? That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, how do I get the right bulb? I don't even know.
I'm like, I tried 3. None of them fit. I give up. We're going to live in the dark.
Like, I'm not calling the crew over for this. No, so we had no construction experience. We had no idea what we were doing. I was terrified that we were going to get screwed on the first few deals that we did. But we had zero desire of getting into fix and flipping. For us, it was all about bird strategy. We want to acquire rentals. That was the whole purpose of why we got into real estate in the first place. Let's get the rentals. And now we've learned that we can expedite this and buy a bunch of rentals. So that year, I think we flipped 2 of them and sold 2 of them and ended up keeping literally 21 properties that year, all as BRRRR rentals.
Wow.
And it was amazing until it wasn't.
Some of it was by choice. The others we were kind of forced into it because of the market change. Like our very first deal, we bought it so deep where it could have been the perfect BRRRR. Like we put the down payment down because we had a HELOC on our primary residence. So we used those funds to put the down payment down, and it just needed like a facelift. It was just very dated. Yeah. So we're like, okay, well, we don't want to fix and flip, but if we want the highest return on this property as a rental, even, we just need to upgrade it, clean it up. Yep. New cabinets, new countertops, like very, very cosmetic, new floors, paint. How, if we're going to do a renovation on the first house, it might as well be this one because the margin for error is big.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it was
that turned into a nightmare because then, they stripped down some walls, realized one of the sons was cooking meth in one of the bathrooms.
Oh, and love that for you.
They would paint over the wall and we would come by and we'd be like, these crews are lying to us. They said the house is painted and it's turning this yellow color. And then they would say, no, we repainted it again. And we're like, why is it not the paint color that we chose? Like, you guys are lying. Yeah. And then we realized it's because of all the chemical in the walls. Yep. The paint wasn't even sticking because they were cooking all these like drugs.
That's
in that
wild.
bathroom.
You have to redo all the drywall.
Everything.
Yep. Yeah, I had to
Oh.
redo
So we're
all
like,
of
well,
it.
I guess we're gonna
That
have
was
to
a
learn
great
how to
learning
renovate.
experience.
You know?
And there was still a fat spread on that house, which is really
That's great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it
But-
kind of forced us into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say the next thing there too is we didn't get to ride the wave that everybody right before us was riding of getting all these
The COVID
awesome
wave.
rates and all that kind of stuff. Because
Yeah.
in the middle of that renovation, which took 3 months, should not have now that I obviously know better, but
Yep.
that renovation took 3 months. And by the time we were wrapped up with it, rates had gone up to 7%. So we were still in the high twos when we started
Yeah.
it. And that's
Yeah.
when the Fed like, boom, pulled the
Just-
rug and
Yeah.
that also hurt.
Oh,
So we actually
my
listed
goodness.
a bunch of houses for sale. Like we had acquired a bunch, but again, didn't know how to properly manage contractors. We were finding like random GCs left and right who we didn't really know how to vet them. We were just
Yeah.
starting to take chances.
Mhm.
Didn't know how to, we couldn't tell if somebody was lying to us, whether this was
Yeah.
good information, bad information, but we kind
Right.
of put ourselves into this pickle and we were just like, well, we got to figure it out.
Right.
So that was part of the reason why we kept so many houses is because when the interest rates, skyrocketed overnight, it felt like our buyers just kind of stopped buying. Everyone was in
Yeah.
this buying freeze for a period of time. And we're like,
Yeah.
well, alrighty, I guess we're going to just have this fat rental portfolio.
Yeah.
And half of them were decent deals, but the other half, we were like, these are negative cash flow. They don't cash flow in this current,
They have large equity spreads, so they were still, for the most part, all perfect burrs, but it was just losing
The
a little
cash
bit
flow
of money.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
And when
Exactly.
you stack, like 20 mortgages, that gets really stressful really fast.
Yes.
Really strong.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tell me about it.
Trust me, we know we've been forced into keeping property that just wouldn't sell during that pivot. I think every investor had to do that. You know what I mean? And people that are saying they didn't, they're lying. You
Or
know what I
they're
mean?
or they're not doing enough deals. But
Yeah.
Totally.
you know what I mean.
Well, and then
Yeah.
you get 6 or 7 vacancies. You get a couple AC units that go out. You do a couple things. Oh, I didn't update the plumbing in this house because I didn't know to, because I didn't have the experience to do that just
Yeah.
yet. So all of a sudden, it wasn't just some vacancies that were hurting us. It was all the expenses. So we were
Yeah.
like,
All these
we got to
CapEx.
pivot to doing something
Yeah.
for active income. And that's really where it all shifted for us
Okay.
being like, we really need to focus on fix and flips and just selling off properties. Let's sell off the ones that aren't performing. Let's get the equity out of those and let's just keep this ball rolling and really primarily focus on the active income and then just start acquiring here and there a rental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
that's
we're
what I was going
still.
to say. Like, you guys were forced into a pivot, but do you obviously, so the market shifted and that's what caused you to pivot and focus on the active income. So fix and flip. So is that your current strategy now? Is that what you guys are doing full time? Like, talk a little bit more about that shift.
Yeah. So, I mean, first off, when we got stuck with all these rentals, again, some of them were great long-term rentals. The others were super negative cash flow, and we couldn't sustain that because we still, again, we're learning how to fix and flip. It's not like we had all these crazy profitable deals. We were happy at some points that we were just breaking even.
Yeah.
That was like,
a win.
hallelujah. We
That's
didn't
a
lose money
win.
on this one, just
yeah.
insanity and gray hair, but it's fine. But we started shopping around of like, okay, how can I force these rentals to cash flow? So we started looking at, okay, should we furnish some of them where the areas make sense and there's a pool? Let's go Airbnb route. Let's figure out midterm rentals. Let's figure out, do some of them make sense for co-living? Are any of them near hospitals where we can maybe do like traveling nurse houses? We had to pivot, but then when we would talk about, we would ask around our local community, like, does anybody know how to manage this? Or does anybody know how to operate these types of rentals? There was not like a single property management company that could advise you or consult you on all. Like you'd have your normal, traditional, super archaic way of managing your,
Oh my gosh, I
normal
know.
rental.
Yeah.
And then you'd have these like super niched, like Airbnb managers that charged like 30% property management fee, and just like ridiculous, like just crazy prices and crazy. It didn't work for us. Right.
Yep.
And then nobody really knew about co-living at this time. It just wasn't as talked
Thing.
about as it is today.
Right.
And then midterm rentals were like,
just starting to like be talked about because people were looking for solutions. So we're just like sitting there grasping at straws. And our best friend was a property manager. So we forced him to actually start managing all of our properties and all the different exit strategies that we wanted. He's like, this isn't what property managers do. He's like, I only focus on long-term rentals. And
You're
I was
like, it is what you do now, homie.
I was like, this is what you should be doing. And then, so that's why we had a conversation with him, probably 6 months later after that, and was like, why don't we just bring this to the market? Everybody else is in the same boat that I'm in right now. Let's bring this to the market. Let's package it up and let's be expert consultants in property management so people can bring their properties to us and we can find the highest and best use and figure out how we can make their properties cash flow because everyone's lost right now.
Yeah.
So that's how Habu was formed.
That's how Habu Property Management was formed. Habu, Habu, stands for highest and best use property management because we manage all different exit strategies.
When did that actually start from? So timeline, you started
2022.
2022. When did you start Habu? Was it like 1 year later?
Exactly a year later, March of 2023.
I just had my first baby and we're like 2 weeks postpartum.
You're like, why not start another company?
I was like, there's a gap in the market. We have to take advantage of this.
I was like, I get it.
Good.
So
I mean, but would you say though that was again what has still allowed you to stay in the real estate industry because you guys are still in when a lot of people left.
Yeah, a ton of people left. Yeah, I would say that really helped us stay in the real estate industry. Yes, it produced income, but we've transitioned that business to not really taking much income out of it now. We've really just focused on the growth, building out the teams and everything there, but it helped us get through a time where we needed it. And then at that same time, it was all about, okay, let's start ramping up all the fix and flips as well. Let's really focus on just fixing these things up. Like we know that we're doing the right thing, at least from the first year. We learned a lot of lessons. We lost a lot of money, but at least we can keep going from there now because we've learned how to navigate that entire market.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you guys would say the focus that you're on right now in the marketplace is fix and flip, active income, building the property management company, and just cherry picking rentals. Is that what it is?
Well, and even now, like cherry picking would be nice. The reality of the market is like, we're still in that place where sometimes like we'll buy in this like amazing high in demand area, super cute house. We've gotten very, very conservative with our underwriting. You know, we're very specific on our buy box. We've really narrowed it down in regards to like what is in most highest demand in the Phoenix area. And we stick to that. We don't go outside that box. We're extremely conservative with it. And we're still faced with surprises all the time where you think this house is going to go, you know, within a week. And we're going 4 months now and it's still not selling. And, you know, we don't want to drop it so low where we screw other people over and really lower the comps. Right. So now we've just really adopted the strategy of everything we underwrite as a fix and flip and as a rental.
Yep.
Love that.
And we list everything for sale and for rent at the same exact time.
So smart.
And whatever comes our way, whatever is the best deal, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
love
we're
that.
still probably selling what, like 70%,
80% of them at least.
70 to 80%.
Yeah.
But every, you know, fourth or fifth house, we're not necessarily cherry picking, but if it's starting to sit stale,
we'll keep it for a year or two.
You know, we'll be like, okay, well, let's refinance it, keep it, sit on it for a couple of years. It'll help out with our tax, you know, burden anyway.
Yep.
And then try again in a couple of years and see if it sells then. So that's kind of our new strategy we've pivoted to.
Love that. Yeah, because I mean, I see right now we're in a tough market. Like it's tough, right? It's an interesting one. Like
that's what I was gonna say.
It's a very interesting market because we experience the same thing as you guys, right?
Unpredictable. It's unpredictable.
Yeah, we'll buy a house. It's a home run. Like we're listed perfectly on it. This house is perfect. It should sell. It doesn't sell. 6 months later, it doesn't sell. But this is the crazy thing. We eventually sell it for the price that we listed it for, but it just took that long to find the buyer, right?
Well, and now you're lucky, right? Since it sat so long, are you breaking even or are you losing
because of holding
little,
costs?
You know,
but there are a lot of investors out there that we see in our market where they're getting very scared right away and they start dropping the price, dropping the price, and they're selling. So like one instance, a house that we have basically 2 blocks away, an investor did that He listed at 1.9. It ended up selling at 1.6. And he hurt us badly on that comp because he was just freaked out and scared. And we ended up selling the house for 1.9.
Yeah.
But it took us a long time to find that buyer.
4 months. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But I guess all of that to say is we are in an interesting market. I know a lot of people right now are pulling back. They are retracting. They are scared. They don't know what to do. Right. I see you guys doing the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And we are too. Yeah. We're leaning in. We're getting very tight and underwriting correctly, but we see this as an opportunity right now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's a huge opportunity.
What would you say to the people that are like scared and bouncing out?
Yeah.
So transparently too, I had that moment, that oh shit moment where I was where it's like, these are all sitting, and we had the same exact situation as you guys, by the way, 2 houses down from a house that we'd fix and flip. The first one of the year, they came in $50,000 under us, and they had a pool. We did not. And they had an extra bedroom, and they had 400 extra square feet with the same exact finishes as me. We both got our same tile from Jim Montero, and who I know is on the podcast and all that stuff. Yeah. So I was like, you mother trucker. I was like, you came through here and you're scared, and you just came through 50K less than me so you could fire sell this thing. And they did. They sold it in a week. And I'm still on market. And I'm like, I was not dropping price. I was just staying still. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. For people that are retracting, I had that moment of, oh crap, what should we do? Because we got the news, the data in March where it's like, hey, home sales, have slowed to 2009 levels. And I'm like, okay, so at least it's not a me problem. I'm like, this is just a market problem. We're all going through it right now. Yeah. So I had those 2 weeks where I was like, I'm not buying anything else until our current inventory sells off, and nothing was under contract. Nothing was, we had 12 listings on at that time. And I was like, not doing it. And then 2 weeks went by and I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. I was like, what if some of these are losses? I'm like, the only way that I can adjust from here is to readjust how I'm underwriting, pivot into the market, get them a little bit deeper, you know what I mean? And just change my expectations. I don't need to make 40, 50K rips every single house that I'm doing. I can be okay with a 10 to 20K rip if that's where the market's at right now. Right now, the opportunity is, and the way that I'm viewing it is I'm going, now is the chance right now where I can cement myself as the top buyer in Arizona, build all the wholesale relationships for the people that are actually going to be staying within the market. So now people are coming directly to me all the time versus getting the text blast. They're just coming directly to me as soon as they lock something up saying, hey, where do you need this? Can you tell me what price you want me to lock this one up at? So that's changed a lot, which has been awesome. I think we bought 6 deals this month alone, and they all came from people that were like, where do I need to get this for you? Yeah.
Love that.
Which has really shifted it.
That is that's how you keep going, right? Instead of just freezing. What is that going to do for your current situation? You have nothing to fall back on. You have no future opportunity. You can only have losses, which will make it so you hurt, lenders, you hurt your own business, and you potentially never come back into the market, or you keep freaking going and know that you have future opportunity. You know that that's an option. This is an option. That's an option. So, I mean, we're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. I had the same moment as you had in November of last year. Yep. And I was like, okay, I'm pausing everything. We're going to sell off.
National television,
we were actually, we were filming Rock the Block.
So
we were in Utah. We were in Utah filming Rock the Block. We just finished our last 2 houses. We had them listed. We had 4 or 5 houses on market. Now, granted, our houses are like $2 million houses, right? They're expensive houses. So we had them on market. I was like, I'm not going to buy anything else. Let's sell all these off. And I think it took me about a week and a half or 2 weeks, similar to you, where like we sat down and we're talking, and I was like, this is not what we need to do. We need to keep going, and the opportunities are still coming in. But I think what's important to note is that when you have that realization and then you look forward on what you're going to do, you adjust and you adjust how you're buying, right? You have to do that. It's not smart, you guys, to just keep going how you were going, right?
You have to adjust.
You need to be able to adjust to where the market is going as well. And we did, and we kept buying, and it's just interesting, dude. It's like a weird, interesting market right now.
Another thing that you said was like, and we had the same realization, was adjusting expectation, because the days of making, in our market, 6-figure flips all day long, those days are done. like they are not here right now. Not saying that you can't get onesie twosies, but it's not every deal. So it was like, also when you do get buyers that are interested and put in offers, like, are you good with taking less profit margin just to let go of the deal and keep the business flowing?
Velocity.
1,000%.
Velocity. We had the same conversation last week on houses that we're selling because we were supposed to make $100,000 of profit this month on 2 of these houses, and we ended up netting $35,000 total on the 2
And you're
of them.
like, that's still a huge win. I mean, a huge one for us was one house where we put it for sale, and it was a difficult house to sell because it was on a main road where we kick, like, it's going to be such a bittersweet. I'm never going to let this property go for a long time, but it was a big lesson for both of us that we got an offer first week on the market. It was much less than our asking price, but we still would have made a huge chunk of money.
It was 50 grand less. So like they asked for, it was a full price offer, but they asked for a $50,000 credit.
Which is normal, right? In today's market.
Right. 2 weeks on market. Right. So we were like, okay, people want this house. And we said, hey, can you work on the credit? Like we'll sell it to you. And they didn't want to. They're like, nope. Out. And they bounced out and bought something else.
So, but then that property ended up sitting on market, you guys, for over 6 months. And we ended up taking a huge loss on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we are so stupid. So like the biggest lesson is entertain all offers. And if you're still walking away with money, take the offer right now.
Yep. We live by a phrase and we say, you never lose money by taking a profit. So sometimes we have one right now that's going to sell. I think we're going to make $1,000, maybe $2,000 on it, but I'm like,
still a win.
Still pays
I paid my crews. I kept everybody going. My property management business makes money off of that because they list the properties, and I'm like, everybody's getting fed. So what? I didn't make as much as I wanted to. Let's just do more deals.
Well, and that's another mindset shift that you and I had too, is take a look at the positives. Like, look, we need to make an X amount of money a year, right? If we need to like quadruple our fix and flip business because we're used to making $40,000 a deal and now like our average is 10 to 15, let's say.
Yeah.
If we need to flip 4 times the houses in order to make the numbers work, then we got to do that. But then let's look at the positives. This is the time to really scale, like really it forces us in a position to really scale our fix and flip operation.
Yeah.
It forces you to really dial in your crews. If things have been kind of like just, going okay, this is really the time where they're hurting for work too, because a lot of fix and flippers are getting out of the game. So this is time to, get more crew members on, get like the right, like top people on your crew and really dial in your processes, really just focus on your operation. So that's kind of how we've been looking at it, is this is the year of not just scaling, but making sure we have A players on our team. Like we need to cut losses, and we need to be able to look at this and see like, how can we maximize every single process, every single person, everything that we touch and work with.
So smart.
I love that.
Me too.
The crazy thing is you're also becoming, like you said, the authority in the marketplace. I absolutely love that, because while the same time you're like tightening everything up on the systems and processes side, you're also being known as, I am the go-to man. Yeah. Like
you're the authority
send it to me.
In your market.
Let's do it. There's something so powerful about having that position in a marketplace and being one of those people. So like, I see it too. And it's rad.
Well, and I knew that too, right? We even referred, I think, one of our students to you that was in Arizona, because I know that you're leaning in, you're not pulling out,
Yes.
And we're over here in Hawaii, and I know that.
Well, there's another side. We're going to get to the other side of this. Everybody is, as long as we play the course. So let's look at the bright side here. When the market shifts down, right, we're all sitting here like, I was going to make $100,000, but now I made $35,000, right? So you take that hit, but it's going to happen the same way, the opposite way. Nothing changes slowly from any kind of market, stock market, real estate, anything like that. It's usually a big rush, and everybody's going hard for a certain period of time. So if we're continuing this volume, there's going to also be a time where we're going to reap the rewards of, on the way up, now we're one of the biggest buyers. Now we have 3 or 4 different crews that we're using. So we can pump out all this volume, and instead of making $20,000 on a deal, now maybe we're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on all those deals. So we get to reap the rewards of all of that as it starts to work its way back up too.
Aren't you ready for those days to come though?
I pray for them every night before bed.
You talk about it.
I write it in my journal every morning.
We are ready now.
Manifest it.
Yeah.
What you got to do.
Please, Lord Jesus.
Yeah,
Any day now.
Just throw us a bone. Come on.
That's so funny.
Drop the rate, something.
I mean, you hinted on, the systems and really finding A players. How are you guys doing that? How are you guys making sure your systems are refined and you're hiring the right people?
So a great question too. So one of the ways that we're doing that, and because it's a little bit different from fix and flips as well as into property management too, we're just assessing on the fix and flip side how everything is consistently going. So our usual go-to crew that we'd been using, which is a very large crew, they were handling 6 to 8 at a time easily. They were just starting to slow down a bit. They were just, I don't know if they were getting tired, whatever the case was. And I was like, this isn't the A team that I'm looking for. And we were having a really hard time shaping them up because they were really set in their ways. So we took them down to 1 to 2 projects at a time. And then I had us go build out a team of subs. My project manager built out a team of subs and then a secondary team of subs as well. So we're feeding each person now 1 to 2 deals at a time. And I'm essentially making them compete with each other to be like, hey, this is how our pricing is over here. Hey, here's where the quality's at over here. If you guys want this repetitive volume in this changing market where you guys are losing all your work, this is the standard that we're going to have to start setting. This is where we're going to have to start operating at now. So either elevate with us or we're going to move on. We're going to use other people.
Yeah. I love that. And I always, we preach this consistently. I would say in the fix and flip industry, if that is your exit strategy, contractors are the hardest part of that business.
Yeah. I mean, so what does your guys' team look like right now?
Right now we have 2 project managers. So Anna Martinez, who was actually Pace Morby's first ever hire.
Anna.
Right?
Yep. I love Anna. Anna's awesome.
Anna. Love her. She's great. I was picking up more volume. So her significant other, Michael, who's very detail oriented and really awesome, been fantastic working with him, also stepped in. So he's managing half of that and she's managing the other half of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's been really, really smooth there. And they both speak Spanish. Most of the people here in Arizona, when it comes to contractors, they all speak Spanish. And it's hard for me to also have authority with that as well, right? I'm just the boss that comes in and I want to be nice to them. I don't know what they're saying. There's a bunch of miscommunication. So they really help that as being almost like the liaisons for everything that we do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ours aren't Hispanic. Ours are Filipino and Chinese.
But it's very similar.
It is.
So can you tell me what the project manager role is?
Yeah. So project manager role, as soon as we walk a house, I basically give them the design idea of what I'm trying to accomplish, what it's going to look like. And we just go through the whole scope of work together that night. So let's say we do that at 10 a.m., right? That night, then they're following back up with me. They have priced everything out, which usually I price it all out ahead of time. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Yeah. But they price everything out. They show me what the timeline's going to look like. Hey, this should take us 4 to 5 weeks if we don't run into delays here. This is everything priced out that we're going to do. Here's the exact order of events. And then they basically take it from there. They're like, cool, demo starts tomorrow. Can you send the first deposit for demo? And they're the ones that actually manage even part of the bookkeeping on that too. So they're the ones that hold on to the funds and they don't pay anybody until the work actually gets completed. That way they can stay on top of everybody. From that point, they're the ones that are also getting multiple bids. If we need to get multiple bids, if plumbing comes in and it's $8,000 and we're like, that's kind of ridiculous. That's not what's happening. Right. So they're doing that, and then they're just seeing the project all the way through, making sure that we're on time and that we're on budget.
And they're the ones that are walking the property too. So it saves us a lot of time. We're used to have to go like weekly check-ins on every single house, right? Then we've built enough trust and rapport where, okay, well, we're just going to check it at the beginning, middle, and end. Yep. And it's like slowly over time, we got more and more and more hands off, where ideally we just want to be able to have that like initial walkthrough at the beginning
and at the end
and at the very, very end.
Yep.
And we try to
I love that.
systemize it as much as possible, where it's like we have flip books now. Like if we are buying the same type of homes in the just about the same price range, and it's your normal first time buyer home, we're not gonna, it's not like ultra luxury where you have to get really specific with design and it's really time consuming. We do once in a while, maybe once or twice a year, a passion project, but majority of them, they're pretty cookie cutter. So it's like you've got your playbook option A, B, or C. Yeah. So it's very, very repetitive for everybody. And that's how we're able to scale that volume.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, but you already answered it, is how many times are you guys going to a project, at this point?
So logistically, and this, you don't have to answer this exactly, but for your project management position, because I know a lot of people that started in the real estate space. They're just owner operators and they're doing everything themselves, but they're burnt out and they're looking for a good property manager. That's why I asked you, project manager, what the role looks like. Are you guys just paying these people like a salary, or is it a per project?
How are they getting paid?
How do they get paid?
Great question. Yeah, for us right now, where we're at is that we do it per project and they get paid a percentage of whatever the actual rehab is, not materials, just the rehab itself. So what the labor is what they're getting paid off of. So if I have a $70,000 rehab that I'm doing, typically about 30 to 40 of that's going to be labor. So they're usually making $3,000 to $4,000, but they got, 4 projects that they're doing that month. So it works out well for them. They're making a lot more than they would if I did have them on salary. I know a lot of people do end up getting people on salary onto the team. They pay them like 60, 70K a year, right? Yeah. $5,000 a month on average is what they're doing. I'm fine doing the 10%. I think it also incentivizes to a certain extent, for them just to get everything done sooner, because we do have miscellaneous line items as well that where if they can get things done fast and on time, that they can make a little bit extra money on top of that too. The next thing that we did as well with that was we've actually integrated the entire crew and team into our property management business. So we started fix and flipping for a lot of our landlords that don't know what to do with their properties, or they need to convert it to co-living, or we just get a ton of maintenance requests. Thousands of maintenance requests every single year, right? For these properties. So it keeps our crews busy in that same exact extent. And so I'm having them manage a portion of that as well too with it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Vertical integration.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. But I don't think there's right or wrong way to answer. And I think it just depends on what kind of market you're into. Like we've also, tried to dabble into more luxury and seen what it's like the project managers in luxury, which may be a little bit more relevant to you guys. Their margins and their percentages are drastically higher. Oh yeah. So I think it also kind of depends on what kind of homes that you're renovating, because a project manager in a luxury home, they have to be that much more detail oriented, that much more, extremely organized. Because it requires that special touch.
Attention to detail is so huge on those. Not to say it doesn't for ours as well, but when we're talking about a $400,000 house, which is below median price points in Arizona, people can get over a lot of things. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not, doesn't have to be perfect. And to me, 10% of rehab, if I'm paying $3,000 to $4,000 for them to manage the whole project, and I went there twice and I got to make $20,000 on the back end,
huge. All day long.
Huge.
Yeah. What has been the biggest shift you've seen when you chose to start building out teams, bringing on project managers, because you really now are able to work on your business versus in your business? And we hear that a lot, right? In this industry, becoming an actual owner versus an operator. How has that really helped you guys? And where do you spend your time now?
Yeah, great question too. So for me, it's being able to really build out relationships, which is where I was getting stuck with senior gaps, right? I was building out those relationships and then I was managing the projects, and then I couldn't build the relationships anymore because I was too busy managing the projects. So it turned into this issue where I couldn't find the time anywhere. So now this allows me to really focus on building all the relationships with wholesalers, agents, anybody that's bringing really any deal flow, and then as well as private money lenders, like talking to PML all day long. So that way I'm like, cool, I'm the guy that's finding the deals, I'm getting them funded, and then I can put them onto the next stage of the conveyor belt, and then I can let it be there. And then the next stage of the conveyor belt is listing, which that's a part of our property management business. So it's all vertically integrated into itself now, to where now since Anna and our crews and everybody helps out property management too, it's easy for our property manager essentially to get everything knocked out. He can handle the benzers, he can handle everything without having to really involve me. I basically just have to only solely focus my time on, within reason, on acquisition and raising money.
Yeah. I love that. That leads me to my next question, because you mentioned, where your time is spent. Angel, where is your time spent, and how is it working together as a married couple and business owners? Because that is the number one, if not top 3 questions we get on social media every single day. Yeah. How do you work with your spouse?
Totally. We were able to identify our strengths and our weaknesses. We're very, very transparent with one another. Some people say brutally harsh. We don't choose to look at it that way.
Yeah.
I just know what I'm good at, and I know what Steven's good at. Steven is phenomenal at, again, he's a creative. He's truly like a born to be visionary. Like he is not the organized person that can sit at a desk. I am. I'm not creative.
Yeah.
I'm not a visionary, but I know how to execute really well. If you tell me what needs to be done, I will do it really, really well, but I need to be told what to do.
Yeah.
So where my role in our business comes in, I handle everything that needs like detail and organization. I pay all of our bills. I pay all of our contractors. I handle all of our meetings with our accountants. I manage the money. When he raises the money, I then take over that private money lender relationship, and I make sure, funds are transferred accordingly. All payments are paid on time. Everything is just going smoothly and properly. I'm kind of more in the back of,
insurance is set up, helping get utilities turned on and turned off. All the things that I would forget to do.
Exactly.
All the things that would have run us into the ground if I was in charge of it.
So we've always had this relationship of like, you're really good at creating the opportunities and bringing business to the table. You just like keep throwing opportunities at us, and I'm just going to keep grabbing them and picking them up and putting the blocks together.
I love that.
And making sure that we don't skip a beat. And we don't, we kind of stay in each other's lanes. Like, of course, there are times where,
it intersects, of course.
Exactly. But for the most part, I trust him to do his roles and responsibilities, and he trusts me to do mine. We give each other grace when mistakes are being made or when there's a learning curve. We communicate. Obviously, communication is probably the most biggest, critical thing. Like how I messed up on this. I really budgeted this, but this is where it went south. How can we learn from this? So we communicate a lot about absolutely everything until we kind of get that process down, and we don't really need to anymore. But that's really it. We just stay in our own lanes. We allow each
problem
other
solve together, right? So if there's an issue with everything that she handles, we try to problem solve that together. If it's an issue of something that I caused, maybe I bought 2 bad deals, right? We try to problem solve that together. What direction are we going to go? But outside of that, we're still sticking to our own individual roles within the business, and not stepping on each other's toes. We just try to problem solve together.
And that's the key. Because we're exactly the same way. I mean, I honestly feel like I'm a little more visionary and a little less integrator. So really fun. We're in that place right now where we've had to hire more integrator people in our business, which has been helpful since finding the right administrative end of things. But that's it. It's communication and roles. When anyone asks, that's what it is. You know what I mean?
I think probably the biggest thing though is like we actually really love each other.
That's important too.
Love and respect has to be there.
Exactly. Like at the core of it, our foundation is very strong. Outside take business away.
Yeah.
Like
we actually like each other.
Yeah, you have to have a strong foundation if you ever hope to work together. You know what I mean?
And it's not for everyone, and it doesn't have to be. Like you can still have a beautiful marriage and a beautiful business, and that doesn't mean that you have to do it with your spouse. But it is, 1,000%. I would say, and I think you guys would agree that it's one of the most rewarding things ever.
Gosh, it's so incredible. We personally love it. But again, like you said, we love each other so much. Like we're never going to be those people where if somebody messes up where we're like, what the hell's wrong with you?
What did you do?
No, totally. We're the same way. So wait, how did you guys meet?
We were serving sushi at Kona Grill. Well, sort of.
Yeah.
So I was a new girl to town. Okay. I moved from Washington State.
Okay.
I just wanted opposite weather. I was in college at the time. I hated Washington State. It was too like rainy, gloomy. So I just picked the Sunshine State, like whatever is opposite of that.
Yeah.
And so I moved down here, and the first thing I did was to get a job as a server because that's what I did through school. And he was already serving there at the time.
Yep. Your parents followed you, so they lived in Arizona as well. And
I'm an only child, so everywhere I went, my parents kind of mostly went too. They had flexible careers where it allowed them to do that. But at that time, I had just met you, and we kind of started talking at the restaurant, and we had this like there was a vibe. There was like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
energy,
There's a connection.
chemistry,
Yeah.
supernatural. We hit it off right away. And at that time, like I had just moved to Arizona, so I didn't have friends, relationships. I was staying with my parents at the time, and I was working up to, you know, get my own apartment. And so this crazy job opportunity for my dad came up, and he was like, hey, I have to take it. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. I know you just moved here, but we have to sell the house within like this next month, and we're moving to Atlanta. Like, you haven't really been here for that long. Do you want to just come with us? Like, it's nice and warm and sunny there too. I've lived there before. I just like really wanted, this is like a whole backstory, but I moved 14 times, 14 times since I was 10 years old. So between 10 and 18, we were moving every 6 to 18 months.
Wow.
And I just really wanted that stability. I was originally born and raised in Russia. And part of it, we wanted to see the country. Part of it was my dad's job taking up places. So they were like, oh, what's new with this? Like, let's just go to Atlanta. We're all used to moving. And I'm just like, I really need to pivot in my life where, you know, I can keep on moving and keep trying these new places out, but I really want core relationships, a place to call home. And I don't know what it was in me. I was like, Arizona is just like, I just kind of want to stay and make it work here.
She fell in love with me is what happened,
Yeah.
right? So we were together for 2 weeks.
Okay, that's
And I had completely taken over.
It's like, well, there is this guy. But really, though, they were like, well, what are you going to do? You don't know anybody. We have to sell this house. You don't have anywhere to live. And so he was my only like person I kind of knew at that time. So I texted him and I was like, do you want to go to Olive Garden for bottomless breadsticks and salad and soup? It was $8. We're broke college students. Like, let's go on a little date. I just need to talk to somebody, you know, about life.
Yeah.
And so we meet for dinner, and then we sat there for like 4 hours straight. And he's like, okay, I know this sounds crazy.
He's like, I love
But
you.
do you want to just like move in with me? Yeah.
Basically, I was like, why don't you just move in with me? I was like, this can either go really good or really bad. We obviously love hanging out with each other. We were hanging out with each other every single day. So I'm like, why not? Like, just move in with me. If it goes bad, I'll sleep on the couch. I'll give you time to go find your own space and all that kind of stuff. But if it goes really good, then let's see how it goes. And luckily for us, it went really, really well.
Well, I remember coming home from
awesome.
Olive Garden, and my parents were like, where were you? And I was like, so I have a plan. I know it's only been like 2 weeks, but
I know, like,
I
you're
met
going to
this
move in with
guy
this guy.
and I'm moving in with him.
Yeah.
And
We've
they
known each
were
other for 2
like,
weeks.
I'm sure that went over really well.
yeah, I think I was like 19 at the time. I don't think I even turned 20 yet. But I've always been like a very independent, like when I make up my mind on something, I'm doing it. And at that
Same
time,
way.
I was not financially like reliant on my parents. Like I had my own car, I made my own money, I paid for my own college. So there wasn't anything they could hold me back with where they were like, no, this is crazy. Like, we're taking your car or what, you know, they couldn't. There was no leverage.
Yeah.
So basically they were like, well, can we at least meet him so I know he's not like a murderer?
Yeah.
Like, sure, we're serving together tomorrow. If you want to come sit in his section, come check it out. So, and sure enough, they fell in love with him, and the rest is history.
That's so
I ended
cool,
up moving
you guys.
in a year later, you know,
And we started
upgrading
reading
our
Rich
place.
Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah. Started reading
Nice.
Rich Dad
Oh,
Poor Dad.
I mean, it was
and-
kind of destiny.
It was.
Yeah.
It was God. And it's what we always say. We're like, what are the odds that our paths crossed for such a short period of time and we got to stay together?
So
Yeah.
You
It's
guys,
cool.
You're like,
We have very
you're
similar
like,
stories.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
because you guys met at the work in your workplace too,
Yeah.
right?
We did.
At your
We
mom's
met at-
workplace.
Yes.
Yep.
We met at work, and then we went out to dinner and talked for like 4 or 5 hours, and then hung out every day since.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Started a
When you know,
family.
you know.
It's
You
just
just
true.
It's true.
Yeah. I feel like that's so
my
true.
door. Sorry. The
Door
wind
just slammed.
slammed the door shut. But I feel like you said it. It's God. When God brings that person into your life, it's meant to be.
Yes, and you can feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So before we kind of wrap it up, I do want to talk a little bit about the two things. How are you finding your deals today? I know you said wholesaler. I just want to know, like, quickly how you're finding your deals today, and then I want to talk a little bit about the property management company and what your
education.
goals, and education.
Yeah.
So 3 things.
Wow. All right. Yes. So wholesalers and agents, and I'm really defining and figuring out who the top wholesalers and agents are that I can work with that are primarily focused on my markets. There's a lot of daisy chainers out here. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. So I've just been working my way through figuring out who actually got these deals, so that way I can find all the direct people. So that's really my focus when it comes to that.
Okay.
Agents, I don't get a ton of deal flow from. That's harder to niche down because we don't have a ton of agents that are just constantly getting distressed properties that they're selling under market value. So agents, it's onesie twosies from them, but the wholesalers primarily, I'm just really trying to hone in on who are my direct people that are getting the actual deals, because I can't do this daisy chain stuff. I have no leverage to negotiate the actual deal. You know?
Big time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Property management. What side of property management? What's your question there?
So, I mean, I want to know, how are you finding new clients? I see you turn on and turn off. I don't know if that's just marketing, which it probably has something to do with, but I imagine you got to a certain point and you need to build out, make sure you had everything stabilized with that many doors. And then you're like, okay, we're good. Let's turn it back on and take some more doors. How many doors are you guys managing right now? And what is your really goal? How are you finding your clients and where are you going?
Great question. Awesome. So yes, we started about 2 years ago. We're bringing on another book of business right now. So we're at about 300 doors with that book of business, which is really awesome. The first year was crazy because nobody knew how to do anything. There's so much red tape and regulation when it comes to property management. It is the most heavily regulated piece of real estate that anybody could go into. I highly don't recommend anybody starts a property management business. It's super low margin, so you have to do a ton of volume and you have to get really creative with it. So year number one, all I did was post on Instagram. I had like 2,000 followers. It's not like anybody big or anything like that, but I did know most of the top players here in Arizona for the real estate world. We were out a lot doing meetups and that kind of stuff. So we got to meet a ton of people, and we were offering a service that didn't exist as well. So we started just posting about it on our stories consistently. And that first year we brought in 150 properties under management. But that gave us a whole new set of problems because it was like, cool, there's a need, there's all of this. This is great. We are losing people as fast as we're bringing them in, though, because the fulfillment on this is not where it needs to be. So how do we start fixing the fulfillment now? How do we start getting the back end to give a better customer experience on this? So year two was really focused on, we turned off all the marketing. We didn't do anything there. And we actually told people, hey, you're going to be put on a waiting list if you want to join, because people are coming in 20 to 30 new clients a month. Are coming through, because then they would tell their friends and then they would tell their friends. So it started to really get some legs under it.
But funny enough, when we actually put everybody on a wait list, like, it was real for us because we didn't have enough employees. We didn't have enough systems. We didn't have enough to like manage it all. It was real, but it kind of backfired. Like, people thought it was a marketing strategy. So the demand came even like higher. They were like, well, now I'm on a wait list. Well, hold on. So then
it must be really good.
People
it's the
want it even
FOMO.
more.
Exactly.
So we're like, no, wait, this is a legit problem. We really got to like,
FOMO.
really got to get down our operation.
So we really focused on just the operations and figuring out, okay, who are our A players again on that side of it? How do we get the right teams put into place? Who's going to be doing what roles specifically? Because we were kind of just shooting in the dark with who's going to be doing what. So we got everything a lot more defined. We spent that second year really buttoning it up. So now we can handle, 20 people coming in a month, like no issue. Like, it's just very systemized and good on that. So we still haven't turned our marketing back on, but we're still just getting a ton of referrals. So right now we're still bringing on about 6 to 10 a month, which is great. Our team with this new book of business that we brought on is going to be at about 15 employees total. So we're probably going to shave that down just a little bit, just because I think we have some extra overhead that we don't need. And this year for us, it's very, very focused on profitability and figuring out where are our other opportunities to make more profit from the business, because now we have volume. And now that we have volume, now we can figure out, okay, if we can make an extra $20 per property, essentially, how many thousands of dollars is that every single month now that we're making?
And you should totally be able to make $20 more per property.
Is your
all the
small tweaks that you have to do?
Yes.
Is your guys' goal to sell it one day?
Yeah, so that's what we're working to. So I kind of have a 5-year plan on this that I'm putting together. Our goal is to get to about 4 to 5 million EBITDA, and then start seeking out private equity on that side of it. And it'll be different branches to this. So we're creating our own brokerage right now too. So it'll be our Habu Realty, Habu Property Management, and Habu Home Services. That'll all be packaged together, because they all really have to rely on each other there.
Yeah, they're all synergistic.
Exactly. So
I love
4
that.
to 5 million EBITDA is our goal there in the next 5 or by year 5 and then sell off to private equity from there.
Love it.
Amazing. We should talk offline because I mean, we started Collective Stays and it was really just born out of necessity to service our own portfolio because nobody cares about your property more than you, right? But then we had the opportunity to
buy a book of business.
And it was like, okay, so we just organically bought more doors, right? And now it's like, okay, so do we want to scale this? Like, what do we want to do?
It's really like we have a partner in it. It runs it. We don't do anything. Like we just bring people in. We're the brand, and he literally runs the team, and it doesn't make any money, but it
services
covers itself, right? And we get like a special rate on all of our properties, so it helps us out there. But we're furnished rental, so it's like it's just solely furnished rentals. There's what we're doing, short and mid.
Which is nice. That it's a little bit less red tape when you have just the furnished rentals in terms of legalities from the state.
Yeah.
The long-term rentals, I'm like the Fair Housing Acts. I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone has to be licensed. You can't.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sneak in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But I love them because they're the easiest to manage as well. It's like you never hear from anybody, right? You get somebody in there and it's like, cool, it just prints money every month and nobody hears a word.
I love, and that's what you want. That's true mailbox money right there. But like, did you have to bring on a broker or a realtor to really navigate that red tape or give not necessarily an equity split or a percentage each month? Like, how did you work around that?
Yeah. So our friend that was managing our properties before, he is licensed and he had 8 years of property management experience prior to it. So he knew a lot of that stuff going into it, not everything, but knew a lot of it. So it's just been working through that. We have an attorney that we work with and we meet with on a monthly basis to make sure that we're still compliant. We want to be ultra compliant in everything that we do. Just because we don't want something stupid taking us down when we have such good traction and things are moving in the right direction. And there's so much red tape with having the different forms of management too. Because everything's handled just a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Our first business coach, Steve Rosenberg, that's how he made all his money, is he scaled a property management business and then sold it.
Really?
Yeah. To private equity. Yeah. In Texas.
That's exactly what we're trying to accomplish there. And we have some plans on how we're going to do that as well, because we do have to scale. I mean, we're going to have to get to like 3,000 doors to really hit the hit the mark that we need to be. But our goal there is we're very connected now, obviously, with tons of influencers and all the real estate peeps, right? I mean, Pace Morby alone has 2,500 doors, right? And I know a bunch of people like that. So our goal on this next, I would say, year or so as well, again, making sure our systems and everything are where they need to be, but eventually probably offering some sort of equity stake for an affiliation program, right? So that way everybody can get shares. That way they can get a little bit of a payout on a monthly basis. But that way, as we scale and we eventually sell this off to private equity, all the people that were a piece of that can also get a little stake in that as well.
Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome.
Love that. So, okay. Education. You guys are going to start doing education or what's the plan? Or you're doing it already?
We're going to start doing it. Yeah. Okay. So we've been getting together on the weekends, and this is really planned out for maternity leave. She gets 5 months of maternity leave.
Nice.
So we've already really started prepping everything, all of our courses, how we want everything to be laid out, because we do want it to be focused on that highest and best use mindset as well, and how you can navigate fix and flipping, but also pivot into rentals and do all the other stuff there.
Well, and when you guys talk about too, like just integrating everything in your business, it's not something that we don't already do. Exactly. I can't tell you the amount of times that we take phone calls or Zoom meetings or meetups where we're spending endless hours of pouring into other people because it's exciting. Like we genuinely love to share the good, the bad, the ugly, the everything, but we're just as passionate about the way real estate has transformed our life and changed the trajectory of it completely. We want to share that excitement. Like we genuinely want other people to experience it too. So we already do so much of just consulting and coaching and advising and meetups where we're at a point where like, at what point do we just kind of make it official? Like, let's create an education platform where we can build out a community of people that are interested in learning, whether it's fix and flip or buying rentals or learning about property management, different types of exit strategies.
Building a team, all of
building a team, all the things that we've kind of forced ourselves to experience over these last 3 years. It's like, I feel like when we tell people that we've been in real estate for 3, people are like, what, how? Like, we just had a ton of experience condensed into this short time frame. And I feel like we're doing people a disservice by not sharing it, because there's been so many lessons along the way. I mean, just even, I know Steven kind of glossed over it, but like scaling a property management business in 3 years, it's like you learn so much.
That's wild. Yeah.
Leadership,
I didn't realize you guys were
hiring,
there already.
Oh
yeah, and having the wrong person in the wrong role, and figuring out where to put the, align their strength into the right role. And when you make those shifts, and you're kind of this person that's overlooking this and kind of moving the puzzle pieces around, and things start flourishing, so much of it is hands-on experience. And if we can cut that learning curve for other people, we're happy to do that. So we're already in the talks of this baby's coming out in 2 weeks, and we are going to launch a platform where we can kind of share all of the things. And
I love that, you guys. Awesome. It's a need. And I think it's going to do really, really well for you. And so the question is like, what's the date it's going to launch?
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
You guys, like this is probably one of the most fulfilling things that we do, for sure. It's like our favorite thing. Our community that we just launched our mentorship
a couple months
ago. You know what I mean? But the students that we have and the time we get to spend with them, it's just awesome. It is so awesome.
And I mean,
it's so awesome to see people taking action. It's so awesome to see lives changing before your eyes, and to know you had a little piece of opening up that knowledge that was missing for those people, and you're there to guide them along the way. It's like, there is nothing better than that. It's wild.
And like all 4 of us are a proponent and a result of education, community, and mentorship, right? And so we know directly how it's positively impacted our personal lives and our professional lives. So why not do that for other people? How many more Stephen and Angels are there out there? How many more Tristyn and Kamohais are there out there? We know there's a ton of people that were where we were 3 years ago, 10 years ago, that it's like, they're just yearning for information. They're yearning for community. They're yearning to see other successful couples, and like, how can they do that?
They're sitting on their couch thinking about how they're supposed to be extraordinary.
Literally.
Right?
That's
literally.
Look at that.
And like, it's almost, and when you take a look, when you step back and you look at it, you're like, this is my responsibility to share this with them. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So
it's got me hyped up. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm excited.
And we'll have everything recorded, ready to go. That's going to be our
please,
time.
reach out to us about it. Cause like, we can share how, what we did, how we started, the systems, the people, all that. Happy to share.
Oh, we would love that.
So cool.
Yeah. Just to wrap things up, it's like, you don't need a hot market. You just need good strategy, embrace the pivot, don't freeze. And you can find success in any deal and in any market. And the most rewarding thing is to be able to do it alongside your spouse.
Your spouse and family.
The most incredible thing.
Yeah. What is one thing you guys want to leave with the audience before we totally wrap it up? Is there anything, a message?
Oh, a message.
Oh, it's always our go-to.
What?
Everything we touch in personal life and in business, we always live by the motto, there is power in kindness.
Okay, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm so glad we were on the same page.
But truly, that is like embodies every single decision, every single hire, every single fire, every single purchase in our fix and flip business, how we operate our property management company, how we treat every single person that we work with, is just treat people with kindness. I think there's a lot of, I don't know how to say this, but like, there's this misconstrued, like, and as an entrepreneur, you have to kind of be stern and harsh and
aggressive,
all these things, and aggressive. And especially in the real estate industry, it's so cutthroat when like, I think we all know there's so much power in
you're stressing yourself out too. So we live by that motto, just saying it. And like, kind of to wrap that up too, is it's like, I'm giving everybody the opportunity to be kind back to me. If they choose to screw me over or whatever the case is, when all I've done has been kind to you and all I've delivered to you is kindness, then that's on you. I don't feel bad about that relationship dissolving now, and we're going to move on to somebody else that can operate with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
there's no skeletons in the closet, and there's no way that you're going to stay up at night when you know that you treated people correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that, you guys.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Stephen Hunt, or you can go to my YouTube channel and it's at Stephen_Hunt, because I guess Stephen Hunt got taken on that one. Stephen_Hunt. And on our YouTube channel, we break down a lot of the fix and flips that we do, not necessarily all of them, but every single house that we do, it's almost like a little mini series, right? We do right before the project starts. We do halfway through the project, talking about decisions we're making, and then the wrap up. And we try to talk about all the details from start to finish of what the projects look like.
So
Love
good.
it.
I'm sure there's tons of value in that. I got tons of value out of today. I know the audience did. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you guys are rad. You remind me a lot of us. And it's always fun to talk to a couple that's doing the same thing. We think the same way, where there's just a lot of synergy. So I appreciate you guys being on, and hopefully we get to see you soon.
Well,
Absolutely.
We got to collaborate somehow, because there's just a lot of synergy. We're aligned on a lot of things. Our business models are very similar. We're obviously married couples in real estate. So like we got to collaborate somehow.
Yeah.
We would
100%.
love to figure that out. That'd be so good.
Right on. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Choo. Till next time.
Time to get paid, blow up like I'm blowing up.